All right, where shall I go? All right, we just had some talk about reduce, reuse, recycle, and we had some talk about not shopping on Black Friday, so I'm going to move right along to the title poem of Mania Klepto, the Book of Euline, because this is actually it's sort of the mission statement of Euline, because she's always been the one who wanted to go into stores and practice not kleptomania, but mania klepto, right? Putting things back, or putting things there that hadn't been there. Actually, I think this came from, my original idea came from Jerry Lewis. Remember Jerry Lewis? Or, you may have seen him on YouTube or something. And there were parodies of him on Saturday Night Live, I believe, much later. But I used to walk by the television when I was a kid, and walking by between, outdoors in my room, I would catch just enough TV to imprint. And at some point, Jerry Lewis was on, and he was saying something about mania klepto, the people who go into stores and put things there. Well, some years passed, and I thought, that's a pretty good idea. And Euline, of course, who had arisen, who had been born kind of like, Athena from the head of Zeus, when I was in graduate school. She basically decided that she was the original mania klepto. So here's what she has to say, and she is definitely practicing this on Black Friday. Euline never comes to shoplift, but to leave things. Rhinestone butterflies she borrowed from her mother's casket of vanities, her father's moldering Bolshevik cigars, her brother's manic metronome that ticks in its box like the crocodile in Peter Pan. She has to be discreet and furtive as a Gideon Bible placement clerk. Dart her hand out when the eyes in the back of the store detective's head blink. She places each object so it says, "I've always been here," and blends into the merchandise like a wallflower. Petty generosity made up the family litany, dinned so long in her ear she never could forget it, even between birthdays. She spent years trying to be normal, a taker of tickets and free rides, the gifts and creatures of sucker friends' philanthropy. Now she knows better. The mania so familiar, its conviction. She goes through the motions like a master evangelist, dropping into fertile grounds for quick drops and quicker getaways, subtle apple cedar of an excess of possessions. How else could anyone receive them? Euline no longer questions, merely smiles at the racks of garments, the thin, bored women who assess them. She deposits the last tatter she smuggled in, calm-faced and professional as a mannequin. The dressing room corridor turns into a Valhalla of mirrors, and Euline, Dame Quixote, armed only with a bare bent hanger, finally contends with the grim, glass-multiplied reflections. And bent hanger did not have any reference to that other controversial deal that, women get into and have to get into. Anyway, none of that. All right. Woo! Thank you. Euline, thank you. All right. Let us go, since we have just passed Halloween, and we're still thinking about Ghosts and Goblins and Day of the Dead and a few other related items, cultural phenomena. How about a little ex-urban spell? You know,
Okay.
the ex-urbs are out there. They're climbing up the foothills of the Cascades. Every day you look out, there's another street out there. Or maybe now it's shrinkage. I'm not sure. But anyway, so at one point I was thinking about suburban sprawl and ex-urban sprawl, and this is what came of it. There's an epigraph, you know, the little writing that comes here before the poem. Not the epitaph, that of course is on the headstone, but this is what I kind of invented from National Public Radio, where they said thousands of acres of American farmland are lost each year to suburban and ex-urban housing development. That's not a direct quote, but they were, you know, for decades they were talking about that. Now they're talking about everybody moving into, you know, into the South Lake Union and, you know, whatever, downtown Everett, you know, to be in the city. Okay. Another thing here was, I was on an airplane once, and there was this wonderful magazine illustration of a pumpkin. In one picture, it was very tiny in the backyard of this suburban subdivision house. In the next one, it was half the size of the house. And then the next one, it was bigger than the house and about to swallow the house. So, ex-urban spell. The children dream of prefab houses going up in the cornfields, wallboard in rising tiers, hingeless door jambs propped against the siding, no handles anywhere. Families stream out from the megalopolis to buy and move in before the paint dries. All night the children wander across the wall-to-wall lawns of living rooms, wondering how to stop the ghosts of bull toads, crop roots writhing underneath their beds. In the in the dens of tract homes, wives fold up the children's things. Husbands close their news weeks for the evening. Constellations glitter overhead like Halloween hags' eyes. The moon swollen as a 4-H gourd. Tendrils of green beans curl over fences. Their pods bang heavily as fists against the screen doors. Fingers of familiar spirits. The one pumpkin passed over by the backhoe blows up quietly, fills a whole yard. Kernels creep into the rank and file of furrows and go to work on their dragon's teeth maneuvers. The grown corn waves its silo-high tassels at the moon. Ex-urban wives yawn. Husbands turn off their laptops and stumble obediently to bed. All night they dream uneasily, while the runners of sweet peas tighten their noose holds on the doorknobs, and cattails ringing the garden sharpen their green swords on the moon.